Hi everyone, it's so nice to see you here. Today we have a free workshop that prepared by Majid and Darren. We will talk about supercharging Flutter with Firebase by using extensions. So it's completely free to attend. You can share this link with anyone on your LinkedIn, Twitter, just your work chats. So feel free to join us. Feel free to ask a question to Majid and Darren. I'll call them to the stage, by the way. Hi, Majid.
Hello, good morning and good evening, wherever you are.
Hi, Darren.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
So I leave the stage to both of you. I'm completely useless here. So go with your presentation, go with your workshop, and have fun.
All right, then, thank you very much. So let's welcome everyone. Welcome to this show or workshop, not show. Me and Darren going to hold this workshop together to walk you through extensions, Firebase extensions, and how you can supercharge your Firebase project. So this is going to be fun. 3 hours. Some of the things we're going to try in production together, we'll see. and definitely, this is going to be a two-way interaction between us and you. So I see your live comments. So please feel free to ask question. I will try to read a question as much as possible and then answer right away. Unfortunately, we can hear your voice, but we try to keep it as engaging as possible. So feel free to write if you have any question. This is going to be a this is fully, um, let's say, a hands-on workshop. We will share some link and we would like you to also work together with us. So it's not a presentation for 3 hours. It's somehow we want you to also play around with what we are doing and make sure you are getting familiar with these extensions that we're going to introduce today. And hopefully, this is going to be a base for your next project that you can use other extensions as well. Darren, I think it's time to introduce ourselves. My name is Majid. I am head of DevRel at Invertace, and I am a GD for Flutter. I do a lot of community stuff. So my colleague Darren, introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Darren Ackers, and I'm a lead developer at Invertace. And over the last few years, I've been specialising in Firebase extensions, developing, maintaining, and community support around all this new developments, really.
Fantastic. So Darren is the guy behind many of these extensions. I mean, if you have any question today or you see any extension today that you may have some question about, so Darren is the guy that you can directly ask. So we will share lots of link later to the chat. So hopefully you will click and walk through those links and check it out. But for now, I want to quickly show you what we really want to build together. So this is my screen right now. So we are going to do everything on Zap. So you don't need to prepare anything. You don't need to run any editor or anything like that. Everything will be online. So we do it together. You can fork this project and work with us, as we go. But this is a project that, let me just sign out. This is a simple project that we have here, a bunch of page. Then you log in with Google. And once you logged in, then you will be able to see a list of coffees where you can also see a bunch of functionalities here. Like, for example, these images now are resized automatically. You can upload new coffees as like owners, whatever. You can go to profile, log out, delete your account, and you will show you how quickly you can delete all the users in for data in Firebase when you delete the data. Imagine this is a GDPR thing, right? Without you doing anything. So there is also a bunch of other functionality. For example, we have some of these comments here, which is a moderated comment. So we will walk you through how you can have such a thing. And we have an email where you send an email. These are all done via Firebase. There is no other service. I mean, there are some services, but I mean, there is no other backend to glue them together. Everything is done in Firebase. Like sending email. If you have worked with Firebase, you probably know that we don't really have email functionality directly in Firebase, but we can supercharge Firebase with definitely with some extensions to have that functionality. And well, we have a list of things that we want to do. We will create shorten URL. We actually have translation for each of these description automatically. We will show you like how all these works without doing almost any coding. Do we write any code here, Darren? I don't think we write any code in backend at all.
No, it's just an installation for this one.
Just an installation and just like hooking them together. And then if we get time, hopefully we go through MailChimp, show you how you can create a mailing list automatically again in Firebase and trigger an email. And then we'll also show you again, if we get time, we will show you hopefully about sending a SMS as well with Twilio. So this is the project. So I will share this link right now in the comment, although this is actually a full project right now. I was hoping that we can share with you like a starter project, but I think it's fine if you want to follow us, line by line. But the only thing you need to do right now is you need to change this Firebase setup that we've done here with a setup that you need to do. We will do that here. So it's good that we do it together. Like we fork together, we create a new project, we set up a new project, and so on and so forth. Let's do that. I'm just gonna go and share the URL with you. Meanwhile, for those that are watching us right now, please let me know if you have already worked with Firebase and Flutter. So let me know in the chat if you have done any Firebase project before, if you're familiar with Firebase, hopefully. So I pasted the link to this app that you can, well, what we want to do, this is, again, a project that is working with some of the configuration that we've done, particularly for this subdomain. So if you just fork it, it may not work. There are some also rules in our Firebase project, which I will show you later, for this particular one, which is not, if you fork, it's not going to work for you. So we need to set up a new project, each of us, in order to make that to work. So we'll walk you through that. All right. So the steps is going to be very simple. Me and Darren will show you how you can set up your project quickly. We will create a new project, and hopefully Darren will do that. Just to make sure that we all are on the same page. And then we set up a forked project here, and then try to create all the functionalities that we do need. So let's see how it goes. But before, like until you just hit this fork button and get one project under your hand, please do not explore yet There are some things that it's a little bit weird at the moment. So I don't want you to be confused. Please wait for us to walk you through page by page, file by file, and extension by extension. Just fork and make sure that you are ready. So one thing I want to show you right now is, okay, there is actually one comment here which is interesting. I need to explain that. Someone or Vincent said, I use Firebase alone, not with Flutter. Even though the example right now is in Flutter, it doesn't mean that you cannot stay on this call. You can stay because this is just an example. In fact, whatever we say, you can translate it to any other, things that you're working. If you are using Firebase with JavaScript, for example, you still can do that. So please stay in the call and look at what we're doing, because most of our work will be on the Firebase side rather on the Flutter side. So just bear with us. All right. So Darren, I think we should probably start, and then slowly I will let you know what is extension when time comes. So please bear with us again. I don't want to confuse you right now in the beginning. Let's just go fork the project and start, in fact, creating another Firebase project. So Darren, I will remove my screen and then bring up your screen.
Sure.
All right. You have two window. That's nice.
Yeah, let me know if it's zoomed in enough on that one. I know it's...
So anyone, is it zoomed in enough? Do you see everything is working properly?
That seems okay. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the Zap project to...
Yes.
What we'd like to do, Majid, we'd like to fork our existing one, and then we can build from there, or we could start with a new project and installing extensions.
Yes. Once we fork that, we create a new Firebase, and then we change the configuration. So technically, imagine you're creating a new project, right? So in Firebase, that's what we're gonna do. But because this project that I shared right now already has some configuration, we need to do that. We need to replace these data, with the new project. So go ahead, Darren. Then let's do that. I think we need to zoom a little bit more in, and is this possible, Darren, that you share only one window instead of the entire?
Yeah, let's see if I can change that.
Okay, what we can do, Darren, I think when you share, it will ask you like you want to share a window or a screen. I think maybe you can share only a window, because it's a bit
Yeah.
small. So it's very interesting to. Okay, maybe I can jump in, Darren, if you want.
Sure.
Okay, so let's do that. I will zoom this one in a bit, at least. Let me know if this is big enough. So what I'm gonna do right now, just gonna fork this project for now. I will actually keep the other one open on my window here. All right, so, and let's do this. So don't worry about the UI. This is not about the UI. This is about Firebase, to be honest. So let's now open up Firebase console then. So if you are watching right now, what we're going to do now is we're going to create another project. So we will do everything fresh and clean, let's say, because I think it's nice to get some errors and you get some errors and ask us questions. Hopefully we can answer those. So we'll see. It's going to be fun to face some errors as well. So let's add a new project. I'm just going to add it here, say Global Summit Extensions 2023. Let's do it this way. And I will continue. So if you are now, let's just zoom in a bit. You're now watching Firebase console. Please go ahead, open up Firebase console and try to create a new project. Let me know if you are doing that right now and you are done with it. Of course, you can just watch us what we're doing, but it's much better to do it together. It's free. You don't need to pay anything right now. Just get your hand a little bit dirty with, this project and hope that you get a good understanding here of what we're going to do. A Global Summit Extensions. Okay, that's my project name for today. Just going to go and say, I actually don't need analytics. Just going to turn it off. Or if you want, you can still turn it on. That's not a big deal. And I will continue until I select an account. It's going to be under my company. And then I create a project. So far, I think this is pretty simple. Even if you have not done any Firebase project before, you still can create a new project as simple as a few clicks. Just do that, please. All right. So we need to wait until provisioning is done. Meanwhile, I will go back to my forked project. And I want to onboard you what's going on here. So we have a Flutter project right now, which is technically containing a couple of folders and some files. This is our main file where everything is happening here. We need to install, before everything, we need to install Firebase Core, Firebase Authentication, Firebase Flutter sign-in buttons, as well as Google sign-in. We have Go Router for routing and for loading images, cache network image. If you have done any Flutter before, probably these are familiar with you. And then we have Cloud Store and Firebase storage. So these are like the main projects that we're going to use. So in Firebase, we will use Firestore, Firebase storage, authentication, and core. Technically, so to set up Firebase on a project, this is Flutter, but Zap is running on web, and that means this is technically Flutter web. To initialize your project, there are different ways you can do that. Like you can create with Flutter Fire CLI all the configuration that is needed. And this file, Firebase options, will be generated. So you don't really need to do anything here, in fact. This is all done by CLI for you. However, in this particular project, which is on web, we already have done that and created a Firebase option files. These are all of our configuration, which we will grab from our project, which is now done. So just want to onboard you to this project a bit. So then the first step is to initializing a Firebase app. if you look at this right now, I'm also importing Firebase core. So, and then I have access to Firebase and then initialize app, where I need to pass this platform, which is already detected, as you can see here, as web. I mean, it can be detected automatically, so you don't need to do anything. And then the configuration for web will be picked up here. In this case, this would be the configuration. So let's say now, if I just grab all of these info and replace it here, I should be good to go. I mean, if you are doing that on your computer, Android, iOS, Mac, and so on, you need to also grab all of these information from Firebase and then paste it here. But you don't really need to do that right now on web, because you are technically on web, and this is just enough. If you're really doing that on your machine, I encourage you to take a look at Firebase, Flutterfire, or Firebase for Flutter CLI. So, which you can technically generate everything with one command. So you don't really need to create this file at all. All right. So I think we're clear here. But you have this file right now. Everything is ready. We just need to change this part, the web part. Let's go back to our Firebase project right now. The project is created. Let's move on. Gonna go to project. Let's again review what we really want to do. First step, we let's set up a project. So I think that's probably one of the things we should do. So if you want to set up a project, then I mean, the configuration that you need, you probably can get them from here. So you need to register a web app first. Let's do that. Just gonna call it what should we call it, Darren?
Global Summit.
I think so. Global Summit 2023. Let's register. I don't need Firebase hosting. I don't want to deploy anything to hosting. That's fine. Here is the configuration for web app. And if you look at this right now, this is actually JavaScript. But I don't really care, because I just care about this part. And this is just parameters and values, right? If I just copy this part and go back here to the web section, I believe I should be okay, good to go. As you see, in fact, I am. So there is no error, nothing here. So I can just simply save my project. So you can do that right now. So this is good enough for our project, because we're not doing any Android, any iOS, or anything. We're just going to do everything on web. But if you do it on other project, let's continue. You need to register your Android app, iOS app, and macOS app, so there are different things here, and get the different configuration, right? Again, if you're doing that on your machine, we can do it with CLI. You really don't need to do that like manually, but because we're doing that right now manually, so I think we're good to just copy. We're doing that on web. We can do it manually, and it's good to go. Am I missing anything so far, Darren?
No, that's pretty much all we need for setting up web.
So please move on and do that for your project, and let us know, please, in the comments. Oh, you're working on it, you're done, or whatever. So please do that and let us know. Meanwhile, I will go back to this project, and there's a few things I would like to start talking about. All right. So let's talk about it, Darren. So what do we want to do? So we have a project right now. Let's look at the actually UI. This is our project where we want to add authentication. That's the first step, right?
Yeah.
And So once we do that, well, we want to authenticate user with probably Google account because that's probably the easiest. If we don't get any error and we can't really solve it. So hopefully we don't. We just want to let users sign in with Google accounts. So just for the sake of brevity, so just make it simple. That's the first step because some of the other steps also requires authentication. So authentication in this case is important for us. And in part of the workshop later, you will see also we need to add some authorization rules. Like we need to say if user is X, for example, do this. This is like a type of permission granting. So we want to give some permission to some users, not everyone, right? So let's fix this first. Again, don't worry about the UI. We're not going to talk about UI now. We're just going to go through the Firebase part of it. Let's go back here. What should we do here in this case if you want to do? Most of the products that we're going to talk about it today all will be on the build section. So one of the services is going to be authentication, and that's what we're going to use today. So I'm just going to go and click on authentication. Technically, you will see the same thing, hopefully right now. Please go ahead and do that right now together with us, step by step. I'm trying to speak slowly and give you some time, so hopefully you can get it done as well. Again, if you don't want to do it and just want to watch it, well, it will be a little bit probably boring and a little bit long for you to watch, but it's totally fine. You can do that. And hopefully you can revisit this video later and try it again when you have time. But then let's get started with authentication. Let's see how we will set up that. So there are different providers that you can add to authentication. And one of those will be anonymous, which means you can let people to log in, but you don't really know who they are. At least you get an ID as long as they are on the same, let's say, browser or the window that they're working, and so they get the same ID, so you can recognize them. But in this case, we talked about Google provider, right? And that's what we're going to do right now. Darren, if you want to stop me and say anything, please do, right? So I just want to...
Yeah, sure.
By the way, I'm just going to go and give a permission to Darren. I hope that you will see that and also learn something from it. So this is a project you want to share with someone else. Go to setting and user and permission. And now I am the owner of this project. Just gonna get Darren. Shall I use your? I mean, we should not really expose that, but that's
fine. It'd be okay.
So there you go. So now I shared this project as well, so Darren can jump into the project at any time. So let's go back to authentication. So I think then, Darren, you can also open the project because from time to time you need to do something here as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I'm just going to set up a signing method. Again, we're back to this signing method, and then I'm going to use Google at this point. Well, also maybe anonymous. I mean, you can enable that simply, or you can also enable it by Google account for now. I mean, both works. It's perfectly fine. Just gonna go enable it, and I will need to choose my support email, and the rest we'll leave it alone and just save this. All right. Well, let's also add another one, maybe anonymous. I mean, you can definitely do that right now. Even email and password, if you want, you can do that. Make it passwordless. Just send an email and, So this one is useless. I'm just going to keep these to Google and anonymous. So we added two projects. So let's see what will happen right now on Fire. Like we enable it, right? So we just need to go and call some function to make sure everything is working, but it will not work as you expect. Let's see. So tell me in the comments that if you've done this part so far. All right. Let's go through our application. So on the first page of this application, we have this page, dashboard, where we do have sign in with Google button here. Well, of course, if I do this right now, I would probably get some error here, which is completely expected. So let me show you the implementation, and then we will come back how to fix this problem. Now in the pages, you do have home page. And if you look for like a button here for Google sign in, you probably find it somewhere on home page, which is going to be here. On this page, we have a gesture detector. If you're not a Flutter developer, don't worry about it. Imagine you have a callback for when you click on the button. This is a tab on tab, you know. So I created a function. I deliberately actually separated this function and added to another file just to show that UI at this point is not important for us. It's just the logic behind it. Let's go there, and I want to onboard you on that. So we have now signed in with Google. In order to get signing with Google, what I have done so far, I created an authentication singleton service. It's a class that I created. You will find it under services, and here is the service. Let's review this service right now. What it does, it's just a singleton that is having Firebase authentication as a local instance. Just it wasn't actually needed for the workshop, but I just did it like because it was nicer. So a bunch of getter and functions to get some status. One of those is going to be Google sign in. And if you look back again to the function, here is the Google sign in. In fact, we're just now sign in with Google. And if everything goes well, they would just redirect to a product. So this is a way that, you know, we set up our router. Let's very quickly look at the router service. Here is a defined routers. So this is Go router. I just made it as a class or service class here. So what it does in our routers, we have a path name, a slash, and the name is home. This is home page. We have profile. We have a dashboard where is going to have products. If its user is not logged in, then we're going to have the dashboard, like a normal dashboard setup. And then we're going to have each product page, like product / ID 1 or ID 2. So that's another document ID that we have. Just a simple routing. So just wanted to onboard you here. Again, this is not important for the sake of this workshop. So let's go back now to sign in our Auth service. What we are doing here right now, we're actually taking care of Google sign in for web. So we already installed Google sign in package. So I think you remember that I mentioned we need Google sign in package. So let's go back to service again. What we do here, we're just going to ask we're gonna just give a client ID. So in fact, this client ID is what you need to get from Firebase. Let's come back here. And here is where you get that client ID. So again, go back to your authentication on Firebase. Go back to your, please go back to your, it's very funny that we're also showing our secret, but don't worry, we're going to delete these this account later. So it's not going to work after the workshop. So then go back to your provider, Google, and then get this ID, web client ID. This is just for web, by the way. And we will come back here. And this is a Google sign-in that you have. Just click and then paste it back here. All right. So I'm just going to save, make sure that this is saving. Let me go back. So this file is Constance file in your Zap project right now. You will find it here. And there are two const variable right now. One is the Google ID that you got. Another one is the Zap page ID. In fact, this URL that you see here is a URL that this page is loading. You do need this on your project. Please get this ID .zap.page and also change that in the const redirect value, because that is important when you sign in. So you need to register that and tell the redirect URL you need to tell that to like your provider. This redirect URL is actually a legit, so it's valid. So we want to roll back to that or redirect back to that URL. So then please change that as well. So then let's review quickly. First, go to the authentication, go to sign in, find your Google and find the web configuration and find the client ID. Come back here and replace in the const, replace Google ID client with that and redirect ID. Sorry, redirect URL, in fact, is your preview URL here. So an ID zap.page. Okay, so you may ask right now, what if I do it my local host? What if I want to deploy it on production? So any redirect URL that you want to do, it must be registered here. Or we will do it also on Firebase soon. Bear with me. So if later you have a project, something.com, this is going to be something.com, right? Or if you are doing local host, one port, blah, blah, you will do that as well. Okay. So now we're changing this to redirect and okay, we do have this. Everything is fine, looking good. Let's go back to our service, Auth service, go back to Google sign in. What we do right now, we're going to set up our Google sign in options. What we do need is, well, the client ID, we already add that to, or get that from Firebase, and it's already on Constance, so it's all good here. And if you look at this hit right now, there is another field that says scopes. So this is pretty standard, you know, that you need to define your scope that you, I mean, that you require for this user. You're logging to a third, you know, party provider, then you need to tell that what do you need, and that will be shown in the consent page to user. So it will say that, oh, I need this client, whatever zap.page, will require to get access to your email and to your contacts only, for example. So we do add 2 scopes. If you want to read more about the scopes, then you can go to just search for Google sign-in authentication scopes, and you'll go to the Google Cloud. So I will add that link also to the comments shortly. So you will see what kind of scope that you can add here. The less, the better, to be honest. I mean, you don't really need any other things at the moment. Only email maybe is even enough, even if is enough. So that's our configuration, and then on that sign in with this setup, the options, then you just need to call sign in, and once that is done, you get a user client. Then you can get the authentication under that, which gives you Google sign-in authentication. And based on that, you will get access token and ID token, which you will need for sign in to Firebase. So then you get the credential, and then you sign in with credential. As you see here, this is going to be Firebase instance. In fact, in this, it must be like that. So this is our Firebase instance, singleton, Firebase Auth singleton. And then you will just sign in to the project. So that's it. But what if access token, ID token is not valid, or you are returning? So you can always, if the, you can always have a silent sign in as well. So you can always create a new credential and sign in when it's needed. This is the part that we're doing that right now. But let's review quickly what we've done here. So we're going to add our client, which we got from authentication, then a scopes, then we signed into Google with that client ID. And I mean, user will see a consent page. And once that is logged in, then you get the authentication, you create a credential ID token and access token, and then you sign in to Firebase with credential. Then user will be created in Firebase. That's as simple as this. All right, so let's move on to, I'm just going to save this. Let's move on to our dashboard page. This will not work again. Well, let's see why. If I now go and click on this button, still I get a little bit of problem here, because I need to register this URL as a legit URL, right? So this is my zap. This is actually what you added to const here. Let's see how we can do that. I'm just going to copy this subdomain and go back to my Firebase. So far, you probably don't need to do anything except changing some variable. That's it. Let's go back to our authentication on Firebase. There is a setting page where you can authorize some domains here. This is for security for sure, and you need to authorize for OAuth redirects, your domain for OAuth redirects. And that means you need to add your subdomain, in this case here. So, which I'm going to do it right now. I guess now we are pretty much okay in this case. So we added everything. We don't need to change anything else. And hopefully if I run again, Darren, am I missing anything here?
No, I think that's okay. We'll see if this works, and then it may need Google Cloud credential setting, but
yeah, let's see.
See if this
okay.
works.
It actually doesn't work. It still says we need to, register that. This is not registered for this client. which we added. Is this the correct client, by the way?
Which do we add?
Let me just see if it's, yeah, that's actually this URL. Okay. But that means we need to go to this console and register project ID. Okay, you want to take that, or should I do that, Darren?
We could do that. I've added a link to the comments and descriptions on what people need
Yes.
to do.
So
for this.
This is the link. Just change it with your project ID. I'm just gonna go and do the same. So this is going to be technically like, this is a link, and then you're gonna have APIs, then credentials, and then project ID. So I'm just gonna get my project ID. So technically your project ID is this name, or even this one. Is that correct? Project public facing.
Yes, it'll be Global Summit 23 dash extensions.
Yeah, I think this is the project ID, right?
Yeah, dash extensions. Oh, sorry. You can put your Global Summit 23 extensions dash extensions.
This one. Yes. So now we need to register that subdomain here. Was it under OAuth client ID, right?
Yeah, it's the web client. So you have OAuth and web client.
I do have two web clients. That's interesting.
Yeah, you can match that client ID to the one that we've added in Flutter.
Let me just make it bigger. Okay, so we now need to follow what we are doing right now. There's a problem that we need to register this page as well. So we got an error here that says, well, this is not registered for this client. I'm just going to go and register that for that client. As far as I see, this is going to be CS27. This is so CS27, this is this client. So I'm just going to open it. So you do the same, and you get this URI here, origin URI, or is it for redirect? No, for both.
I think I typically add for both on this one.
I think it's for both, actually. So what I'm going to do is, because this is a URL handler, I mean, redirect handler, we need to also, I think, do that. We're not going to redirect here. We're going to redirect on the sub page of the. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to just go, and you would probably need to do that as well. I'm just going to come here and add this also here. I think that's pretty much it. So if you are now getting the same error as we do right now, that this subdomain is not registered, we just added a link here on, so just go there, add your project, then you will come to, let me just save this. We'll come to this page, credential on Google Cloud. And then you find your client. This is my client ID, where you will see also that ID here. And then go to that client for OAuth client ID, and then add your subdomain for origins, authorized origins, and add your redirect URL. This is technically for Google sign-in, by the way. So if you're doing something else, maybe you need to do different things, but we need to authorize the URI that we're gonna use for Google signing. I think this should be enough. Let's finger cross. I don't think I need to reload, but I will do that anyway. What it happens is right now, it should open up a new window for a consent page. It doesn't. Do you think? Oh, wait a second. Do you think it's the problem that we had yesterday with the option? But I actually changed the option. This is our options.
Does that client ID match the web options?
You mean this? Oh, you mean this one? Yeah, it does. It's actually, this is the number. It's CX27.
There is a part on that it may take a few minutes to propagate the changes.
Oh, yeah, that's
Well,
okay. Okay. That might be the reason. Yeah, there you go. So I'm just going to go and actually, let me see if it's correct subdomain, by the way. Yes, it's already here. That's my subdomain. So let us know if you get that to work on your Zap right now. So let us know in the chat. I think it's gonna be fun. We deliberately actually wanted to do this to face all of these issues and hopefully to do it together. So, all right. I don't know how long it will take to propagate though. So do you have any idea?
It took 5 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes yesterday.
Oh, yeah, that long. Okay. But then we have actually, okay, we have, so please let us know in the comment if you at least followed until here, you added your page, that page to the web client or Auth 2 web clients under the authorized JavaScript origin and authorized redirect URL. Again, this is very web thingy and very, let's say, this is just for Zap, that because you're using Flutter Web. So let us know in the comment, what kind of error are you facing right now? So we love to see and fix that together. I don't think if I press right now, I will get, yeah, I will probably get error. I think it takes a little bit time to propagate, but we will wait a bit. So meanwhile, we can do one more thing. So far, I think we're doing everything correctly. I doubt we do anything wrong.
I do wonder, Majid, if we include zap.page and zap.run as origins as well.
Okay. Do you think we should do that too?
It could be worth doing just to make sure that as it's proxy through the website.
Okay, so we can do that.
I'm pretty sure it is the subdomain that's going to be causing the issue, but we could have those.
Should we add like maybe Zap page like as a root here, not subdomain?
Yes. So if you add zap.page as an authorized origin,
I can actually do that for zap.run as well.
we can also use it as a redirect URI.
Okay, I don't think that will be the URI here, but we will add that anyway. This is probably not going to be your case because you're going to push to production and you get one domain that you know what it is. This is just because Zap is doing some proxying, some iframes, and some stuff here. So that's the reason behind these things we are adding right now. So we added also Zap page and Zap run, both websites, just to make sure we added everything that is needed. I think I'm going to go and add that also here under the authentication on Firebase, unauthorized domain. Just going to add root domain, like zap.page. A valid domain name is required, myapp.com. So it doesn't understand zap.page. Okay, that's funny. I don't think we need that. In the previous project, we never added zap.page, to be honest. But that's fine. I mean, we added already here, so it should work. Let's go back here. We do have other things to do right now. Meanwhile, while it's propagating, And let's go back to those and see what we need to do. And then we'll come back again to see if it's working. Just going to give it a try once more. It still doesn't work, but that's fine. But then if you get that, because it may take, I mean, it may be different from project to project. Maybe you see it faster. Please let us know if for you is working. Okay. So now, imagine now we have this sign in. I mean, in fact, we can make it a bit simpler, to be honest. Let's go here. Meanwhile, until that part is fixed, let's go back to your service, Auth service. We do have another, we can create another function here to sign in anonymously. That's also fine for the purpose of the workshop. So let's do that. I'm just going to copy this code and say sign into Firebase anonymously. So then I'm just going to say sign in anonymously. So there is a method on Firebase Auth instance sign in anonymously that will let user to sign in. So in fact, there you go. So in fact, I think that is enough. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go back to where I had my sign in with Google. And let's go back all the way to dashboard. No, was it dashboard? Was it homepage? There we go.
Yeah.
So signing with Google right now, I'm just going to change it to signing anonymously. So what I just need to just import. Oh, I see. I need to go. Okay, the way that I did it is I actually created another function in helper. So now I just need to duplicate this. You probably can follow me right now. So just go to helper, create another, call your auth service, sign in anonymously. And you probably need to name this and then redirect user to product. So then let's go back to homepage. And now I have sign in anonymously. We will just do that for now, just to move on. But well, after a couple of minutes, we will come back and take a look at the Google sign in to make sure that it's also working. We do need Google sign in because we need some kind of email later for authorization. All right, so then that's pretty much it in my workshop. So let's review quickly for those who are following. We added another method in Auth service. This is Auth service, Auth service.file under services. Another method is sign in anonymously, which is just calling Firebase Auth sign in anonymously. That's it. Once that is done, then we went to helpers and then created another function that is calling this Auth service anonymously. And then once it's okay, then we redirect to product. This is not the perfect write of coding. We need to handle errors, show errors, and so on and so forth. It's just the matter of simplicity because we're not focusing on UI at this point. We're going to show you other things on Firebase side. All right, so now if I go back to my UI, well, this is not going to be Google sign in anymore, of course. Let's run it. And this should let me sign in. And I think the reason that we can do that is because we already added anonymous here and it's enabled. Let's try. Yes, and it's working. So now at least it's working and I see products. If I go back to my users, you'll see that I have an anonymous user right now. So pretty much this I will just stop for 5 minutes. You get this to work because it just takes a bit of time to take a look. Just go and create a sign in method that you can sign in anonymously. Let me know in the chat if you have any question or if anything is like you don't really understand how it works. Just let us know in the chat. I'm actually checking chats all the time. So if you say anything, I will bring it up. For those who are still maybe struggling with Google sign in, so you need to go to this URL that I just added. And then once you are there, you need to find your client, web client, which you already have the ID for it. And then just click on edit, go to the redirect URL and add authorized URL. Okay, so I'm lost at the Google's console. Yes, okay, shall I review it again? I'll bring it up again. This is the URL that it takes us to the Google Cloud. Tell me if you are seeing the same page right now. Once you see this page, like it's in Google Cloud, this is your project. You see the Global Summit 2023 extensions. Technically getting that URL from, this is your ID. This is the name of Firebase project that you put in the beginning. So then you see a client, a web client here with an ID. This is a Auth client ID that is already created automatically when you created this Google sign in on Firebase. So this is the same ID, you see? Once you go to this one, like the exact same one, this is the same one. Then you go to the redirect and add your Zap page. So you'll find your Zap page from here. And in fact, you need to append it with underline /auth /handler. This is like a standard Google Cloud, like Google OAuth handler for redirect. Just append that. You can just copy that from the first URL. That's pretty much it. And then you also add that to your authorized origin. So you can make sure that you don't get course issue. That's pretty much it. And then save your client. All right. Tell me if that was clear. Okay, someone said client or anonymous is working, though that there was an error needed to me to enable Google Firebase API. I see. That is interesting.
Yeah, that's a new one.
That's a new one. I'm not really sure why. Oh, it's maybe because you're okay. So I don't know yet. But we do use Firestore in our project. Maybe you clicked on something. Oh, yeah, I know why, probably. It's because when you signed in here, maybe we also have that error. Yeah, we do have that error too. So it's just because we still have not enabled Firestore, but we are using Firestore in our code. Don't worry if you're getting that error. So please just ignore that for now. We will do it shortly. Let's actually do that right now. The sign-in, the anonymous sign-in is working perfect. For those, if you are still struggling with Google, please skip Google and just create a sign-in anonymously. Call Firestore, auth instance, sign in anonymously, and just redirect to product. Exactly what we have done here. So go to helper and do that. I will just quickly paste my project that I just added this. So you can take a look at the 3 new ones that I created. But do not fork this project. Let's stay to your project. I just wanted to show you like what I have done. Just copy and paste if you're still struggling. Okay. So now what is happening, we're going to product page. Let's take a look at product page. So in product page, well, we want to use Firestore to get a collection of product. Please go to your product, to go to your Firebase and go to your Firestore. We will use Firestore as our database to load data and store data. So the reason that you got that error is because we have not created any database yet. And that was the error. So don't worry about that error yet. If anonymous sign-in is working, ignore any other error for now. So just go to Firebase console, go to Firestore database, and then create a new database. I will go and do it actually for production because I also want to show you some rules, funny rules here that is probably nice to hear or learn. Just gonna go and let's do it again. Create, I use production. Next, I will use you can use any region that is suggested. Probably I will go with that. This is not really important at this point for me, but the closest the region to your client, but of course it's better. So, well, let's move on with what we have right now. And I will enable it. It will we will start provisioning the cloud Firestore, and then afterwards we have our Firestore ready. Fantastic. So let's quickly talk about the basic of Firestore. This is a NoSQL database. What it means is, okay, I'm going to open. So you create your Firebase and be ready, please. So okay, so I'm just going to now explain a bit about NoSQL and some concept here. A NoSQL database is where you have no strong schema. So like when you define your data structure, it can change from document to document. You definitely can create a solid schema, but it can change. So there are 2 main concepts right now in Firestore NoSQL. The first is you're going to have something named collection. A collection is where you define all of your data under that. So in fact, a collection consists of multiple documents. So this is going to be my document, let's say. So you're now understanding documents. It's going to be one set of data, and that data is a JSON-like format. Like I'm gonna have different fields, for example, name, And this is going to be like Majid. Let me just make it a bit bigger. And let's keep it that way. So I can have different document though. So I can actually duplicate this and have another document and multiple documents. So these documents then go under this collection. And each document may also have another collection. So this is a way that it will continue working all the way, right? So you can create another collection, and so on and so forth. Depends on how you want to structure your data. So now let's come back here. What we want to do here, well, let's actually quickly write here. We're going to actually create a collection of products, which is going to have products, well, as an ID of a product here, ID 1, ID 2, and we're going to have some fields. Name, well, let's say coffee 1, description, and image URL as of now. And same for this. This is what we're going to create. And then we load these coffees or these documents. Let's see how we want to do that. Darren, do you want to maybe take it over from here?
Yeah, sure. I might be having a few internet issues at the moment while tabbing across. So you may see some delay.
If you think that you still have internet issue, then I can continue. That's fine.
Yeah, we may have to do that for now, I think.
Okay.
Sorry, Majid.
No problem. So let's create then a collection. So what we want to do, we're just gonna create a collection named products. That's what we discussed. And then it asked me to add at least the first document. You see, it says add first document. Okay, sounds good. Let's make it a bit bigger. And then I will just automatically generate an ID. I don't mind about an ID at this point. You can even define your ID. That's fine. Then I say I need a name. Well, let's say coffee 1. I need a description. And I will say, this is still like the type of this going to be string. I don't want to do anything else at this point, but you have different types. So I'm just going to say, this is a nice description. And I'm just going to go and find image URL. Still, it's going to be a string. Leave it empty for now. And maybe just to add another one like price, just to, have a different value. Just say, this is probably, I don't know, $3. And then another one maybe just simply say is active. Just to make sure we're using other formats, just true or false. This is active. Just gonna save. So now I'm defining my products and one document with these fields. You see that I can also create a collection allocated or dedicated to this ID. Like why this is important. Later, we're going to have a comments collection where we're going to have these comments for only this user or coffee. That's nice. So another one that we're going to do with, let's add another one. Well, here is the part about, the NoSQL databases. So I can add another document, auto-generate. But if I make a mistake here and I say name 1, it accepts. So there's no problem that the schema of this document and other document can be different. This is one thing that you should take into account. But I know that what I have added already, but so usually probably you don't really go to this console and create your documents and collection. You will do it either programmatically or you will import everything within a schema. But again, I want you to understand the concept, like why. Let's go and just add coffee 2 and description. This is nice 2 description. Please go ahead and add 2 documents. Now, to make it a bit simpler, maybe you can avoid other fields. Just keep it like image URL, name, and description. We only need these three fields because we're gonna just use image URL for shortening URL and description for translation and name just to show it on the website. Just please keep it simple if you want. And that is the funny part. Look at this right now. I have 2 documents right now, and these are having 3 fields. The other one have 5 fields. This is like the way that NoSQL database works. So now if I come back to my project, so please go ahead and create some products. Let's go back. And that was the error you've seen, Jackie, already, because we didn't enable and have anything. And you see that it's a funny thing here right now, which I wanted you to see, is you see an error of missing insufficient permission. On this page, we already selecting collection of product. And then we iterate over that. And then we just show image and the name of product. That's technically what this page is doing, that the Flutter part. I'm not going to explain that. That's totally fine. This is not really important part of it. What is important is this part. Why this is then insufficient here in this case. All right. Please let me know that if you started creating products collection, at least adding 2 documents, at least. So at least with 3 fields, descriptions, a description, image URL with U capital and name. Just add these 3 and let me know in the chat if you're done with that. So then we can go and talk about rules, why we get insufficient. So someone, Win said, I don't have sign in anonymously method on Firebase. So it's interesting. Take a look at which version you are using. You should wear at least version 4.1.5 or maybe higher than that. So, and if you go to Auth service, Winset, so in Auth service, we have a local variable, a private one, which is getting Firebase auth.instance. And technically, I mean, I can copy that. And anonymously, so you can say Firebase auth instance, sign in anonymously. This should work, hopefully. I mean, if you click on instance, so you probably get signing anonymous. You can take a look at the definition. I believe it's already there. I doubt it doesn't have. So signing anonymously was there from the beginning, to be honest. Let me know if you could get it to work, please. And also let us know if you added 2 products. All right. So hopefully you're adding some document, and now we're going to load documents. But what is wrong? Why can't we load, even though we have the code ready? Why can't we load our document? It's just because of the rules. In the rules here, so if you look at this here, it says on your database, any document cannot be read and write because it says it's false. Not read and write at all. Well, that's a security, permission here. How can we fix this? Well, for this purpose, what we can do. Okay, Vincent, that's very good that you could fix that. For this purpose, well, what do we want to really do here? We want to technically go and say on products, everything on products must be readable because, well, everyone should read. Or you can say here, all documents that we are adding right now to this, Firestore must be at least seen or have that people can write if they are signed in. Like that's a thing. So this false must change. But you can say true, which is not good, which means you open up to everyone. But you can say request.auth.user ID, like if there is a user ID, user is logged in, it's not null. So this means everyone who is logged in can now read and write. Of course, this is not still good. How can we do it better? Because, well, you may don't want to allow people to write, anyone write, but read, yes, you want to. So another thing that we can do, we can quickly say here, let's talk about just one collection. Just want to write one collection, right now. So what I'm going to do here, I'm just going to go and write another rule here. I want to match, look at this, very simple to write, my products collection with products ID. Product ID. So what I'm saying here is all the document ID under products collection. Now I want to allow, read. It's very simple. That's it. I want to allow read to everyone. As simple as that. I'm just gonna actually delete, like make this false for now again as it was. So if all products, then allow. And for write, because we need that also later, write, just for now, do if user is logged in. Request auth user ID is not null. So in fact, you're allowing everyone to read the product, but not write to the database. That's simple. Just gonna go and publish this right now. And that is, when I come back now to this app, I just need to refresh. And hopefully this time I will see 2 coffees. But, well, I don't have photos, then it will be just a custom photo, as you see. I can actually maybe add some URL for some photo to make it a bit better, but that doesn't matter, to be honest, at this point. All right. So the fun part now will start from now. So what we have achieved so far is just listing coffees, and, well, the rest of the logic, when you click on one coffee, you go to another page, you see the details. These are all done already for you. But we need to get this uploading photo to work. We need to make sure sign out, delete is working. We need to make sure we can send this coffee as an image to someone. These are all the functionalities that we want to add, but we can, of course, write a lot of backend code for that. And here is the part that extensions come handy. So I I hope Darren can jump in at some point and he also speaks, because I'm slowly losing my voice. So, okay. So what we're gonna do, let's find out scenarios. Why do we need to use when do you want to use an extension? What is an extension? First of all, let's talk about extensions. Here is a place that you can find multiple extensions. For now, I think they are 73 or 30, 37 or 38 extensions, around 40. Extensions.dev. So that's the place that you can go and take a look. Extensions are technically cloud functions where they do a bunch of things for you, but it's maintained by Google or, some trusted third party. Like an example would be, you want to add an Algolia search or you want to add an email. Here's an example. You can go and write a logic with Cloud Function, create an endpoint, and trigger that from your client, and boom, voila, it works. Writing that function will take a long time. How can you do better? How can you do simpler, easier, faster? Here is the extension comes in handy. So you don't need to write any logic here, but you get a functionality added to your Firebase console. As you see here, extensions are easy to move forward with. You can just go ahead and install extensions in console. Just click and it will install. Let's do that later. But before doing that, you need to take into account to use extensions. You can go to build on Firebase, go to extensions, and you need to enable or you need to upgrade your project from Spark to pay as you go or Blaze. Does it cost you? No. Because, well, you will upgrade. Still is going to be some thresholds for free. So you don't really need to pay. Let's do it together. Please let me know if you are on extension page and we're going to upgrade. We're going to upgrade our Firebase project. You see the upgrade here. You see the upgrade button here. Let me actually remove this. You're on Firebase console and you see the upgrade button here. Let me know in the chat if you are seeing this. There's a few things here that I like to explain about it. I mean, to just make sure we are on the same page. Are you seeing this page right now? Meanwhile, Darren, I think you can go to extensions website, maybe. The first one we can do is probably Resize image. We can install and set it up.
Sure. Can you still hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you, but your picture is not that good, but I can hear you clearly. There is no problem with sound.
I've got it. Looks like I've got audio, just no video or.
No, video is okay too, but
Okay.
I'm hoping that your screen is better when you are like presenting. But let's see. If it's too laggy, then maybe I will continue.
Yeah, it's strange at the moment. I can't click any buttons. I think the poor internet's affecting my MacBook.
Wow. Okay.
But I couldn't seemingly speak okay, which is the best I think I can offer at the moment.
Okay. Yeah, we can collaborate. So I can share my screen. You can talk on my screen. So that's
if you
fine.
do the heavy lifting, I can speak.
All right. So everyone, are you ready to move on and select a pay as you go? If you do that, then it will ask you to select a billing account. If you don't have, you need to do that. Unfortunately, I don't have, as you see, and you're coming to this page, and then you should confirm, create a billing account. So these are just formalities, and add a credit card here in this case. Darren, do you have any billing account on your Google? I think I do have.
No, I would just click. You should be able to just click pay as you go and then skip, and it will skip this process.
Can I?
Yeah, if you go backwards.
I don't think you can actually skip. It was always. Let me go back here.
It was when you select your plan, and when you click to upgrade, there's a skip option next to upgrade.
No, it's not anymore.
Are we already?
I think you should definitely have a billing account, although it will not charge. That's what I wanted to show, actually. So you can create a billing account, like an individual one, and just do this stuff and just confirm your purchase. That's what you can do. I will not create a billing account yet on this account. I will give a permission to another account that I have billing account with, and I will upgrade. So I will just hide my screen shortly and create this. I don't want to expose my credit card on live stream. I'm just creating a profile, just as you, but not exposing my credit card online. That's it. So please, then you do that as well. Just simple process. Right. Can you tell me in the chat so far, are you getting everything? You're coming a step by step, products? Because from now on, we're just going to talk about extensions. Until now, it was just set up, some basics and about Firebase, but from now on, will be only extensions.
And Majid, just add into the Invitation billing account if you want to use that one.
You did that?
A new one.
Oh, that's good. So then I don't need to create anything then. If you already have billing account, so definitely you can choose the existing one. There you go.
Have you done that? I can click continue.
You do that. I think that's better then. So I will go back to the console, Firebase console.
Okay, that's updated.
That's good. So now we are on Blaze. So yeah, so someone says I have this error on Zap. This is fine. This is not an error. This is just don't worry about it. I know it comes as an error, but nothing is wrong. Don't worry about that on Zap. It's just because Flutter recently uses a new variable, global one, underline Flutter, but it doesn't exist until you load your application. So that's why in the beginning you see that it's an error, but don't worry about that. So as long as you click and everything works and you anonymously sign in and everything is fine. All right, so now I hope that you could upgrade, because extensions will not work if you don't upgrade. But that doesn't mean, again, you will need to pay anything. It's totally free. It's just a matter of upgrading your package. That's it. So don't worry about that. let's move on and see what we want to do now. The first problem. Imagine now you're going to add a new product here, a new coffee here with an image that is so big, like 10 megabytes. First thing first, let's go back to build Firestore, storage, and enable storage. Last time we did that, it didn't work. Okay, just simply enable storage. All right. You now have a storage ready, and the rules are, again, a little bit funky here because it says no one can upload and read. That's what you don't want, definitely. You want to just say if request is auth is UID is not null. Like if user is logged in, they can upload something. Otherwise, they cannot. Of course, this is not a perfect way of securing, right? Someone said they cannot create billing account now. What should I do? Unfortunately, if you cannot install extensions. That's a bit of problem. But what you can do, if you already have a billing account, please assign to that. If you don't, and you cannot really create any account to upgrade, from now on, just watch, and once you have a billing account, you could upgrade, then follow us later with, So let's move on. And then the storage, now it's ready with the rules that we define, right? I hope that once I was talking, you could quickly do that. So what it happens is when I go and upload, so now I have a button. Let's quickly review this button. It's actually on dashboard page. And when I have my button here, floating button, I have a function says add coffees, or I just want to upload a photo. And what it does, so let me go to coffees. What it does is just a file picker. Just open up my file picker and get a file. Let me just close this. It gets my files that I selected. It will just create a reference to photos on storage, Firebase storage instance, create a reference which is going to upload under photo, user ID. I want to recognize who has uploaded this photo, and file name. So then I put the data on Firestore. So you have this code already on your forked project. You don't need to really do anything right now. Then I will get the download URL. I mean, the URL that it works. And hopefully it works. So from the result. And once that is done, I will add this to a product with a URL that I grabbed from a storage, and then with some information. What it happens is, when I click on this, it will open up a picker. I have a file here. I will select, it will upload and show it as a product. That's it. So, and what the problem is, I may have like this photo, let's say. I want to just upload this photo. And, well, I see, well, again, this is not really perfect UI, but at least it's added. You see that group 1 JPEG is uploading. And if I come back to my Firebase, I will see that I have a photo now bucket, a folder under my bucket. and then I have the UID because this user is logged in, and then I have the photo. This is going to be a big photo, right? And another thing that I was doing was like I added that also to my products, and here is the URL and description and so forth. The problem right now is, what if I upload a picture that is 5-10 megabytes? Do I really want to show a 10 megabytes photo here? Of course, I don't want to do that, right? So this is going to be pretty heavy. What we should do is we need to take into account that we can resize these images. But how can we resize? There are multiple pages, like services that you can do. You can create a cloud functions. Once the photo is uploaded, grab it from the bucket, resize it, and put it back. This is exactly what Resize image extension doing for you. So let's go back to extensions.dev and find Resize image. Darren, you want to talk a bit?
Yeah, sure. So as Majid's alluded to here, that we want to be able to resize images, and you can use the services. With Firebase Extensions, we have this new Resize Images extension, which is pre-developed, well-tested, and basically, as you can see on the page now, we just need to install in the console. And each Firebase extension has a set of configuration. So you can actually install these multiple times or configure for different folders. You can exclude folders, include folders. There's lots of options for which images you like to resize. And in the background, this uses the Sharp image library. So when we resize, it will compress the image to make it smaller. And you can also set a list of sizes that you'd like to resize the images into. So you can actually do multiple images as you do this, and it will connect directly to your Firestore storage, your storage bucket. So you can actually resize images within your storage bucket from this extension automatically. And this happens when any images are added to the bucket.
Yes. So now we can install this. Let's move on. And when I install Darren, then maybe you can take over. So simply, I mean, the first thing you can install extensions in two ways: by CLI or from console. Simply just click on this button. It takes you to the page that you need to select a project. I will select my Global Summit 23, and then it goes to this description. If you have not upgraded your project to Blaze, it will ask you to upgrade first. That's why we upgraded in the beginning. So if you cannot create a billing to upgrade, that's fine. Just watch, see how it works and how simplify your development. We're gonna just go and, as you see here, just go and just answer some of these questions until the parameters. So these are just something that you need to say, okay, I understand. There is one thing that in this next step is explaining about what type of API you need to give permission to or enable. And there are two that I don't have yet enabled. That is Cloud Function, which I need to enable, and another one is Artifact Registry on Google Cloud. Just gonna enable these two resources, and I should be able to continue to the next step. Each extensions may have different resources and API required. So we'll see a couple of them today, and hopefully you will get a good understanding what you should do next for any other extensions. So I'm not going to review the APIs right now. Why do we need these kind of APIs and what it does, like the cloud functions and so other things? Just this is a typical, let's say, even if you want to do all of these in your cloud function, like writing a Firebase cloud functions, you still need to do a bunch of things like that. But hopefully this extension is taking care of everything automatically. All right, so please then take a moment, go back to Resize image extension, hit the install in console, and then start installing. And I don't know why it takes forever to enable cloud functions. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Brilliant.
Yeah, okay. So we go to the next. Then it asks you for granting some permission to this extension. So because it will do a bunch of things, on behalf of you. So that's what it does. And then we move on to the configuration part. Darren, maybe you can take it over from here.
Yeah, sure. So as mentioned earlier, this section allows us to provide a comma separated list of all the sizes that we want to resize into. So we have a trigger watching the storage bucket. When the image is uploaded, this extension will automatically take over and it will produce images for each of the different specifications you've added. We also have an option to whether you want to delete the original file if you don't want to keep the, say, huge 10 megabyte file on your storage bucket. And a new feature we added recently was that typically you'll need a token to access storage images. With this extension, you can actually automatically make the image public, which is much better for, say, instant websites when you want to upload an image and you don't need to use any Firebase clients to actually generate a token for the client. So in this case, we can actually make the image public and instantly available. Could scroll down, Majid?
Yes.
And here we've got more configuration, which allows us to say which parts of the storage bucket we want to resize images from. So we can say specific locations. It will go from the root of the bucket by default. We have a location where we can store failed images. So if anything goes wrong, keep track of that. And we can also cache the images as well. So we also support, if you could click the original tab, Majid, we have a number of different formats. So you can actually, not only can you do multiple sizes, but we can also do multiple formats at the same time, which, say, for example, if you've got Google-based websites, you've got WebP for the new standard in JPEG. And we even support GIF images as well, so you can resize animated images. So if we, as we just selected these three, we will now get, based on the top configuration, a 200 by 200 image, and it will be in these three formats produced inside your storage bucket. We also added a Cloud Function memory section because GIF images can take a lot of processing. So based on the size of the function, we can increase the size if we've got heavy processing. And the final option, the backfill existing images. If you're worried about any images that you already have in your storage bucket and you want to include them, by selecting yes on this, when you install the extension, it will go through and backfill all existing images and produce resized versions for them. So you don't need to worry about pre-existing. This will work for any image, existing and new, in your storage bucket. And the final option here is enable events. So as developers, sometimes we may want to hook into what happens when this extension works. So by enabling events, you can write custom cloud functions to intercept when certain things happen within the extension. In this example, we can actually select on complete, but this is probably more of a more developer-focused thing to do later on. It's not relevant for what we're doing in this tutorial.
Sounds good. So then quickly, if you want to do, I don't want to change anything. The bucket is correct. I think 200 by 200 is fine. I don't want to delete the original file. I want to make that public as well, automatically, the thumbnails. And I want to keep the rest as is. So whatever it is. The only thing I added is, just to see how it works, added two more type of images, see if we get more or different sizes. And then another thing that I want to do here is just because we already uploaded at least one photo, I want to just also add it or have a backfill of that existing photo too. So that's what I do. Gonna go and install right now, and it will take a few minutes. Each extensions that you install takes a few minutes to properly set up and provisioned and installed. So then we should wait for that. Until we wait for this to be done, we can go and talk about another one. So, and install another one quickly. So we're gonna do, so now what it happens is we're now uploading and we have the resize image, fine. If we go to this page, then we will have an email. What we want to do here is we want to send an email of this photo to someone. Well, typically this is something that you will write an API on a backend and or use a service that can have a client, service, and then you use it on your clients, send your data to that, API, and you're good to go. But in Firebase, you can do a little bit different. So how will look like at the end is, did okay, I had an email open here, but unfortunately I actually closed the tab. So I wanted to show you how it will look like at the end. But anyway, well, let's go and find the trigger email and install, select this project and go to next. Again, reviewing the APIs that you must enable. And in this case, it's we need to enable secret manager. This is for storing your sensitive data and getting, instead of just having that purely as a text somewhere in this, configuration. So you can enable secret managers that you can access your secrets from. This is nice. It's going to enable the service. Next, some granting. Next. And then I'm just going to have this configuration. Darren.
Yes, so this is a little bit more advanced than the resize images one. Essentially, what we do with this is we allow developers to provide their current SMTP server. In our example, you can actually use Google emails for free in this case, or whether you've got another provider that you like to use as your central mail server. What the first configuration on this is just simply the login for your SMTP server, the host name, and then the port that it'll be listening on. It's okay to, typically when you have that URI, you'd have a password. We're going to use that password for the next field, which we're going to store as a secret. And that will make sure that you can use your SMTP server credentials, but also secure your password. So if any developers came into this console, they won't be able to see your password.
Yes. So do you want to talk about why do we need to have a collection here, Darren?
Yes. What we're going to be doing with this is adding a new document to a collection. The way Firebase works is that it has triggers. When a new document is added to a collection, which in this case we're going to call mail, the function will then the extension will be listening for that collection. It will receive the document and then automatically process that in terms of an email. So we're going to have a standard format, say a from field. We're going to have the, say, HTML for the email body, and these types of configuration that we're going to add into the documents. And this is representing the email that we're going to be sending.
Yes. There's also a question from Resize image. As updating is necessary to use extension by a billing account, does using a cloud memory storage or resizing, etc., cost in any level?
No, everything that the extensions do is based on the Firebase sort of platform, if you will. So any execution of resizing images is using a function to call, and then any storage is under your Firebase storage costings. So Firebase has a very generous tier, even at this level, for this sort of processing. You'd have to do a lot of function calls and storage updates to inquire any costs. Typically, yes, a typical application will be able to have no costs for this type of processing based on these extensions.
I really like to show the pricing on Firebase. That was the reason I mentioned that you really don't need to be worried about Blaze plan and create. Like, you can also set, by the way, like a maximum budget that you want to spend when you set up your account. You can just say, I don't know, $5 per month, and you never go over that. You never exceed. So that's what you can do as well. So no worries adding your credit card and suddenly figure out that Google has charged you $10,000. That's not going to happen if you set a budget. And if you also fall into these category, let's say, so if you go pay as you go, extensions are technically cloud functions, where most of extensions at least have some cloud functions invocation involved. So as you see here, the invocations on the Blaze plan is like up to 2 million invocations for free. 2 million invocation for applications is quite generous. So, and you see that also for build per minutes, our cloud build minutes is only 120 minutes per day. It's still quite generous. So gigabytes usage like here is, well, and the numbers that you see here are like, I want to say that these are pretty generous. So don't worry about like the pricing, unless you have 1 million user on your application, and yeah, of course, then you should think about it. But if you have even a couple of thousand users, probably it's gonna be for free. Depends on how you gonna use your application. But let's see. Now we talked about installing email extension. Let's actually do that. Did you know, like, let me know in the chat, did you know actually you can use your Gmail, if you have Gmail account, you can use your Gmail to send a notification, email. So I hope you know, it's actually fairly simple to set up. I will send you right now in the chat a blog post that we are showing how you can use email, like Gmail, to send email on Firebase. So just bear with me. I will give you the link. All right. So this is going to be the link. So please later take a look at the link and see how you can get Gmail. Meanwhile, I will just take down my a screenshot because I want to I want to paste my password, so I don't want to just again paste it on public videos. So Darren, we already have that, to be honest. I think you already have that. If you just give it to me, I will just paste it here and we will move forward. I think I just need maybe password because I have the URI. All right. What we want to do now, and hopefully you are doing that right now. So I sent you a link so you can follow that. Don't worry about it if you don't want to just set it up right now. You can even have like a SMTP URI from any other like third party. Like if you're using Mailgun, for example. Let me just show you quickly. In fact, actually, maybe we can use Mailgun. So If you're using Mailgun, they're also having a very generous like free tier, so you can get like 5,000 email for free, and you get SMTP as well. So if you just sign in on Mailgun, you will get like SMTP URI plus a password. So as simple as that, just go there and get your SMTP and password. So I'm not gonna show you right now again on live stream, but that's what you can do. And once you get that, come back to extension and just paste it here. Actually, this is the one that we've done for Gmail. So technically it comes with your email @smtp.gmail, and the port is gonna be 465 and your password. But this password is not your Gmail password. This is different, where you can see on the blog post that I pasted right now, and you see it on the screen. So that's the way that you can use your Gmail. I'm just gonna quickly take this down again, paste my password, create secret. Okay. You see what I've done now? I just paste my password. Well, technically Darren's password. And then there was another button here says create a secret, which I did. And now there is no like password anymore. It's just coming from secret manager. So I'm good to go. Everything is set up. Another thing is I made another collection named shared photo. So what it means is in my collection Firestore, I'm just gonna have a collection named shared photo. So this is what is gonna happen. So at the moment, I'm not gonna add anything, or maybe add one because it's required. But I'm not. This is the collection. Whatever we add to this collection later, I will show you how it works. It will trigger sending email. So let's go back here. The rest is just some configuration, as Darren explains, like from where you want to send it and other things that you see. Just going to install this as well. So meanwhile, this is going to take up to 5 minutes, but we're going to go back to the Resize image. Let's test it out. So Resize image is installed. Need to go back to my application. And now what we want to do here, we're going to just go back to our bucket, because we said that we want to resize the previous images as well. And if you see right now, I already uploaded one photo and I got the 200 by 200 thumbnail here. You can add more thumbnail, just, the sizes, just separate them by comma in the configuration. You get more. And that's fantastic, because I get like these formats that are like way less than, like typically this is the same original one. Like you see, it's JPEG and this is JPEG. Well, first of all, the resized one is 6 kilobytes compared to 429. Another one is like the two new format, WebP and AWIF, is just way smaller, same quality. So you can now have different format, which is nice. Let's give it a try and upload one more photo, see if it's actually working here. Here, just gonna go and upload another photo. And well, upload it, add it to storage, and everything is fine. So then I go back to my storage. This is the user. And you see now, when it's uploading, I didn't do anything. I just did the normal process that I do for my application, but I do have thumbnails here. What we can do now is we can go and replace the original file, let's say. By the way, let's take a look at the storage as well, Firestore. I added 2 more. So this one This is the URL and this one. In fact, if I just open and that to the page, you see this is going to happen. So that's nice. So if I go back now to my storage, my code, in fact, what you really can do is you can get a URL of that images and replace them with thumbnail. So let me just do that. Or maybe we can just yeah, I think what we can do. So the thing here is that we're adding, let's go back to products. We're adding a product with a URL, which I think we should have done it with an ID or like the path to the page, to the image. So let's quickly fix that code. It's actually on helper. Here is we're adding. So this is the image URL. I will also add another one, says storage URL, storage image path, which is going to be my result.path. Or is it result.path?
Full path?
Full path, yes. I think there is one thing here. Is it file? Why IntelliSense doesn't work now? Again.
Oh, is it ref? Result.ref?
Yeah, that ref. Yeah, there we go. That ref. So now I actually have this ref, which means I can actually, from storage, I can get a ref and then get the URL back. So this is nice, right? So I think that's better. So in this case, then I can get also like change it to my thumbnail. So I get the ref and the URL, but then I can change it to the thumbnail because I know already. Let's experiment with that. So let me show you quickly to just make it a bit easier. I'm just gonna go and delete this one. This is this image, whatever name is that. And then we go to storage and delete those images as well. So just retry again. I think this is also giving you a time to get it to work. Just try to upload something and see if it's working. So then I'm going to go back and in here, then I have 3. Good. Then I do have, there we go. So now if I go to my storage, Firestore, products, and there we go. So this is the product that is added and I have the path. So the good thing now is what I can do, actually create another helper, let's say get URL or get public URL, and I can pass my storage path or full path or URL or storage image full path, right? Then let's copy this. What we can do here, just quickly review. We don't need to really do that now, but just give you an idea. So what we can do here, we can just say, this is a ref that we are creating, result ref. And that's going to be photo, user ID, file name. However, I mean, here in this case, we do have the image ID, right? Or if we are even following the same pattern as we had, like the image name, which is technically the last part of the path, full path, we can turn it to something like this, like underline 200, 200 dots, like for example, this format. We get a reference to this instead of the original one. That's a nice and beauty thing. I think it's beautiful because then you don't really need to do anything else except just making sure this is already in your setup. So then you get already a reference to a thumbnail, and then you get a public URL. Again, if IntelliSense works, I think there is like get public URL, something like that. There you go. You get a public URL, and then you can actually use that. So it actually is return as future. So this, well, here's the things. If you go back now to here, let's see. This is going to be our, let's just have an example, our path, right? What I can do, I mean, let's take a look at that. This is going to be my storage full path. It's simple. I just wanted to give you idea. So this is nice. This is not actually really about extensions or Firebase, just to give you an idea how it works. What we can do, we can get a name out of this. What can we do that? So this is going to be like file name. The file name would be the last part. If I split this with a slash, then I think the last part, the last selection would be my file name. So that is my last part. And then I do have my, this is my full file name and prefix. And then I get my file name. So what I get here, it will be this, for example. Right? Now I just need to get the first part without suffix. So file name would be file name with prefix. I mean, there are better ways, by the way. So we have some functions from, some libraries that you can pass this and get like the file name and suffix and so on. I just wanted to do it natively, like quickly. You can also split with dots and get the first part. Now we have the file name. That's what we want. So what we can do now, we can actually, replace my entire path with this part. Let's see. Look at this. In fact, I can just have the full path and replace, let's do it here. So I will have the storage. And then for some reason, I don't know why the IntelliSense doesn't work on this project. There you go. And then I will just replace it with I will just replace the file name path with the file name and underline. So this part actually. So we're gonna do this. Let's do that. We'll just do like, this is going to like create a path to the thumbnail that you want. Just give you an idea, right? So then you can have this reference and get a public URL and show that as a thumbnail. So how we want to do this, gonna be like that, So let's move on, go for the email part right now. So I think now it's pretty clear, like how you can utilize after the thumbnail stuff. let's go to our UI. Now, let's see if the email is installed. Trigger email is installed, so hopefully it should work. How can we trigger that, Darren?
Yeah, so through the application, we're going to add a new document. And as we've already specified where the email is coming from and where it's going to, we need to add a new document with the person that we're sending the email to, as well as any body or HTML text.
Sounds good. So let's see what, like technically what Darren says. What it happens is when you open this now coffee, this button, it's going to be on product page and it's going to send email. So I will pass the image URL to this function. Let's see, to this function. So, and let's take a look at the logic right now. See how you can send email as simple as possible. This is our function, which takes the image URL, which is a public URL, and it will just add a document, as Darren said, with a with a couple of fields. This is a map of message, and then with 2 as a field. These are like required. You can, I think you can also add CC and BCC stuff, right, Darren?
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah, you can do.
So now we're going to have in Firebase store instance collection shared photo that we defined in the trigger email. Nice. A document to this email. Where I get that email, this is my client email or whatever email you say, or it could be an input that user, you get it from logged in user or wherever. This is a temporary email. I'm just create a temporary email. I just created from this website. Just want to show you like, and then paste it here. So, and then we have an object of message where, well, to be honest, only either text or HTML is required. So you can send an HTML. In this case, I'm just going to send an HTML says, just send an IMG with a URL. And the title or subject of the email would be this one, coffee photo or whatever. This is a document. What it happens is I go to this page and I just trigger my sending email, right? Nothing else. I just need to build it again because I changed the email and some stuff here. Oh, that's error. Don't worry about that. That's because we left this part. We don't need, this was not needed. I just added for some example for you. All right. So now if I hit the email or trigger the, like click on the email button, let's go to this one. And if I, or maybe not this one, let's go to this one. If I click on this, then it will add a document for me. So just gonna go to Firestore, share photo, and you will see that it doesn't add. Well, we need to figure out why. Let's see. Oh,
it's on mail collection.
No, it's actually not mail collection. It's, always take a look at this. It's an error, missing or insufficient permission. That's good that we are getting these errors, so you will figure out like why. So we go to rules. We already added permission for product, but not for shared photo. I'm just gonna copy the same and then have shared photo. Allow read and write both. I mean, read is not really required, just write, right? And publish. In fact, it's going to be Is it shared photos or shared photo, by the way?
Just checking, do we have an S on the end of photos?
Yeah, I think it's, yeah, that's what we need. I mean, I can check from here, come back to here and shared photos. There we go. Okay. So now I should be able to, again, trigger. And there you go. So I see something is happening. It's because I zoomed in. You don't really, you don't really see the, things. So that's fine. I'm just going to zoom in again. So what it happens now, if I go back to storage in my shared photo, I have a new document. Look at this right now. So in fact, we added only a to and a message object, but the rest of this are automatically the rest of them are automatically added by the plugin. So about the delivery, the first attempt on this day, no error, it was accepted by this client, and everything was very nicely done. So if I go back to my temporary email, so Darren has sent me an email coffee photo. If I open that, I will see my photo here. So it's a public photo and it's working. So email is working so nicely. So you can now use this email. Now, and interesting is that you can actually send a public URL of the thumbnail maybe, and then have a click to download the original one. So lots of other things that you can do, right? So because you have both working. So just gonna click and delete, leave that. So Darren, I think so far 2 extensions, we've done no coding, but we got some stuff to work, which is nice. I think the next we're gonna do now is let's review our README. So the photo URLs are pretty actually long. If you look at that email here, you see that this is pretty long if you want to share with someone. Maybe the nice thing is we shorten this URL. And it's nicer if we can do that automatically without writing any code. Darren, you want to take it over?
Yeah. So most users may have heard of a company called Bitly, and they've produced an extension that allows, again, the same way that we add an email, we can add a document, in this case, a URL for an image link, and the trigger will automatically then go off to Bitly, use the token that you provided in the extension, and then produce a shortened URL direct from Bitly. So this will be created in the software, but Bitly will also then return that shortened URL and we'll add it to the Firestore document. So within your shortened URLs document, or whatever you choose to call it, you'll have the original and the shortened URL now in the same document.
Nice. So we go to the extension, right? And shorten URL, I just searched, find it. And we're gonna go and install in console, project, typical so far. And next, there might be though, take into account. So when you're using something that is used by another third party, or like it's being used, let's say from other places, or you need to use them, let's put it this way. Like for example, in this case, you're actually calling a Bitly API. There might be some threshold for that third party so that you need to pay to that, service, not Google. That part you need to take into account. So, and this is like outside of Firebase billing, as it says. This is important that you understand how these kind of stuff works. So then only thing you need to do is you need to have a Bitly access token. And then some permission for this extension that is notifying you about. Luckily, we don't need to enable anything here. And then we just need to go and paste our bit.ly access token. I guess at this point, I will just again quickly remove my screen. And I add a token. So what you need to do, you just need to log into bit.ly. It's just a few seconds. And then just log in and get your token. So that's pretty much it. I will just get my token from Darren and paste it here, create a secret, and that's it. Add back now. Okay. Well, I added now my secret token, and I create it as a secret. So nice, so far done. So then again, similar to shared or the email that you define the collection, here is also you need to define a collection. You need to define a collection that tells like how how you want to create this. Darren, you want to take it over and explain a bit more, maybe?
Yeah. So similar to email, so we're going to add a collection, and this is where we're going to add the documents to. And what this extension needs to know is, firstly, what's the current field that we're going to look at to extract the URL from, and then also what's the field name of where we're going to put the shortened URL.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we decided to do that for products images, right? So then the collection path, you guess, you tell me in the comment. It's gonna be products, yes. So the email, the field that you want to take a look in products is going to be image URL. So this is the field that we're going to take a look at it. And then we're going to create a short URL here, another field added to the same document. We're just going to add this and install. Again, it will take some time to install this, but hopefully after that, everything should work. Until it's installing, let's quickly review the next extension that we're going to talk about. Another problem that you may have seen is moderating comments. We want to add a mechanism to automatically filter the toxic wording for a comment, like having an auto pilot for moderating comments. What we want to do in our UI, on each page, we have actually a comment section right now. So I will explain the logic behind this comment section, and then I will leave the rest to Darren to explain. So the first thing you see that it says missing permissions, it's just because I will explain why and how we should do that. So by now you should have a good understanding of why this is an error. So it's rules, we need to add the rules. On our product page, was it on product? Yes, add comments. So this is a page that we're going to have comments. We're going to have add comments here. Just going to open add comments and show you how it works. Technically, well, in each product, we're going to have a comment collection. Is that the way that we defined it, Darren, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's going to match the extension.
Exactly. So, and that means if you now open this product, then it will later be another comment section. Like I will add that myself, but you don't need to do that, but you can also add, like there will be a collection here later, right? So, and what it does is just when you click on the The rest is UI. At input box, you get a comment and you add. When you add, then you have a reference to the comment collection, and then you just add a name of a user, which in this case, actually, we don't have a name, which probably we should do it like anonymous.
Yeah.
Known. Then we're going to have a URL of the user, which we don't have it here. And we just go and just do an empty placeholder, for example, and a text. So these are just fancy fields. We're going to focus on the text part, which is getting the text from the input. And then that's pretty much it. Then it's added. So then the rest, that's the nice part of it, right? Let's take a look at the rest. I think the rest we will explain after we installed the extension. So let's go ahead and see what we can do. Darren? You want to take it over?
Yeah. Thanks. So this is quite a fun extension, and is based on a Google API. So when you initialize this particular extension, it will require an API key. And this, unlike, say, other ones where you would go to an external resource, this is actually a Google token you're going to find. When you add that to the configuration, you can then set, I think it's 5 categories.
Let's do that actually. Let's install it, Darren. So I'm just going to click on install, choose my project, and then move on. Here is the part. So you need to have this is the part that you say API key.
Yes.
How can we get this API key, prospective API key?
Let's see, if you can go to your Google Cloud Console and then type in prospective API.
Yes. If you remember, we already have been in our Google Console because of the web auth, OAuth thingy for Google. I'm just going to click on here, prospective API. Or should I go directly to enabling API here? Let me just.
It should have been in that, could have been in that list at the bottom.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, in fact, if you look at this, you can actually click on this link and, well, get that API. Isn't it a third party, by the way?
Maybe actually, have I got that one wrong? You go to configuration parameters. Does it say the source?
Yeah, this is actually a third party. So let's do that. Get it started. Should I sign up? Do you already have a key?
Yes.
This is simple. I just clicked on the prospective API. Just went to the page. You can probably do that also from Google Cloud, by the way, because these are like partners. And then you go there and then just clicked on this link. Then on the prospective API, so just going to go to console, and this is where it takes you. So if you can't find it directly from prospective API, on the console, then you will get it probably here. So it says, go to console, create a project, and then in the new project, then you need to request an API. Here is the form. Oh, it's still, you need to request it this way. Last time I did it from Google Console, don't we? Is it
Yeah, we have written a blog on this recently. I'm wondering if that's a good source for.
or maybe they changed it, because it wasn't like that, definitely. But anyway, we need to get this API. So this part is an external part. So again, this is a part that we need to fill a form, and they will send us probably like an API as soon as you have your project ID here in the console. Your project ID is actually your Firebase ID. Don't worry about it. Just paste it here. And that's it. So then you get an API. The rest is when you get that API, the rest is happening here. This is the fun part. I mean, so far it's just some like clicking and getting an API. Darren, if you can give me an API, which we already have, we're going to bypass that. I'm just, again, going to remove this page and paste my API. And once it's done, I'll be back. All right. Again, when you do the perspective API, I will just let's do this. I will just paste it right now. I'm just going to go and show my screen again. Paste it, and then I will just hide it right now. I don't want to have it on public right now. You are video. So then we have the collection path. It's going to be comment, right? And then the input field text. So Darren, do you want to take this over? So
yeah, the attribute scores are how the extension is going to rate the text that you enter. So once again, we've got a trigger. We're going to add our collection path. In this example, here's comments. And then the text is going to be the field name of the text that the API is then going to moderate. Once that trigger has happened and the extension has read the information, it's then going to give you back a series of scores based on all the attributes from the top field. So this could be toxicity, severe toxicity, and it will give you a rating between 0 and 1. It's up to you to decide what level you would like to say is severe or a toxicity level. And in the end, that will all come out in an attribute scores map field. So you're able to check your attribute scores, and you will get a full list in there of all the scores that the toxicity API has returned.
Yes. So then we're going to install this, and then we will come back to the code later. So just you don't need to do that right now. From now, you just watch and see how it works, because it just takes probably time to get an API from third party. If it was on Google, it was a little bit easier, but now it takes time. But then let's take a look at the shorten URL we've done. It's installed, ready, and see how it works. If you remember, we defined our products and image URL, and then image URL will be automatically picked, and then Bitly will generate a shortened URL. So if I go back to my Firestore, I do have now this image URL. So, okay, what we're going to do, we're going to just upload a new, from app, a new product. Just randomly upload this picture. So now, as soon as this is done, I'm just going to get this final JPEG, which means I added a photo. So let's find that photo. Here it is. Look at this. Actually, it happens right away. So I had this image URL, and a few seconds after, or a few moments after, I got this Bitly. a URL, which is very nice. Now shorten, and it's automatically done. So I can actually copy this and paste, and I will be able to see my picture. This is pretty nice. You can definitely use this as an automated way to shorten like different URLs. This is very helpful, especially when you have like e-commerce, you want to share your basket, and the basket URL with a lot of parameters and things, it just gets so long, where you can just shorten it and everyone can, redirect. So this is a nice way of probably showing URL instead of a very long one. So back to extensions. Now we want to see how this is going to work. So let's go to the code and open up this coffee and go to this part. So first of all, let's fix the error for insufficient permission. You must have a good understanding so far that is about rules, and it's just because we disallowed everything unless we allow them. So what we're gonna do, we're actually gonna copy this again and say this is going to be comments, or with actually this, and write and read if you are logged in, right? And do we have another one? Is actually, so we have another actually comment under products. That one also we want to allow like this. Okay. So I think this should now solve this problem. And if I now hit a refresh button, I reload everything and see if we get that problem solved. And meanwhile, take a look at the extension. Okay, so I don't have the permission error anymore, which is good. And if I go back to my extension, that is also done and ready. Darren, you want to explain a bit about the logic that we've created here? So let me just go back to my add comment. So we've been until this part, comments, right? Let's move on.
So what we want to do with this is when a comment is originally added, we won't have the attribute scores straight away, as that's got to be reacted with the trigger. It will then go away and get the scores. So in the meantime, we want to say a comment's been added, but also we can let the UI know that a comment has been added, but it's currently being moderated. You may have seen on sort of chat systems before when a comment's been typing or is getting ready, but it can't be published yet because at this stage, we don't know if this is appropriate to show on screen. When we do get those attribute scores, we have set a hard-coded value of 0.5, I think it is. And so if a toxicity rating comes back at above 0.5, we're not going to show the comment. If it's less than that, we can say it's a safe comment, and then we can display the comment on the UI.
Yes, that's technically what we're doing. We're getting all the comments. That's in a snapshot, and then a list builder. So as you see, and then each of these comments comes with attribute score and toxicity. Toxicity.
Yeah, toxicity.
Yes. So then you get an attributed score, and then based on that, if it's actually null, then you say moderating. Otherwise, you can just show the comment text. And so moderating, so in this case means, well, something is wrong, bad. So I will actually enable this print where it shows the attribute score. So you will see a number. We can decide based on that number as well. So let's do that. I need to save again. All right, so I'm just gonna go under this and start commenting like, hello, this is my comment. If I do that, so I will open this. Okay, that's nice error.
Could it be to do with the profile image because we're using anonymous data?
Yeah, you're right. Let's fix the error. I think it's not about that. It's about let's quickly check Firestore. We can definitely take a look at the first comment is added here. The photo URL is empty and name is unknown, which was expected, right? So now let's take a look at this. We get a product comment. And what was the error, by the way? Let's take a look. Unexpected null value. This error is not really helpful.
Could it be when it's expecting the toxicity results and it's not doing a null check before?
Well, it's mostly
that solution?
about this part. I guess it's talking about products. I wonder if we get the stream here. Because now it should continuously like error here. If yeah, let's see. If I go to this, still it's an error, which is expected. But then I want to know if we have the stream back. Yeah, we do have the stream back. Okay. Let's figure out. So then our stream builder is going through definitely size box because we do not have error. We do not have this. So something is wrong here then in this case. It's probably because data attributed score is null like this. Yes, that's because of this probably. So in this case, you added exclamation mark, or we added that because we are sure that we have this, but we don't have that field yet. Seems like it doesn't really work. I think it's because we are adding comment to a sub collection, but actually the extension is adding that comment to a main collection of comments. So now you see, if I go here, you see it says moderating, which is correct. So this is moderating, correct? Right?
Yes, that has that extension installed now, hasn't it?
Yeah, the extension was installed, but the problem is we're adding the comments under products collection. But I think in the extension we defined comments as the path is comments, like the root.
Yeah.
So, but we are adding that to a different path. It's now product. Okay, so we can change that quickly. Let's quickly change that. So we can actually, instead of adding to products ID, we can just add it to collection comments. We will just add product ID. And that's going to be a product. Yeah, there we go. Now we're adding comments to comment collections, not to the sub collections. And then in the comments, we're instead of reading the comments from products, blah, 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 we will read all the comments. Right. And can we, do you know if we have, I think we have, again, IntelliSense doesn't work. I think we have some kind of filtering here. So we can just filter all the products. I mean, we can do that also here, but like,
Majid, maybe this could be an opportunity to talk about wildcards in Firebase Extensions as well.
Yeah, let's do that.
So when we mentioned earlier that we can put a collection, and this is where we store our data, Firebase has what's known as a wildcard. So for a sub collection, we can actually put the name of the top root collection and then slash and then use some brackets that would represent the ID of the document and then the sub collection. And in this way, this means that the triggers will happen on sub collections. So in this case, we want our extension to watch for the sub collection comments on the products collection. So here we put the collection path as comments. This can really be products slash, and then whatever you'd like to call the document ID. So in this case, we could put product ID in curly braces.
And comments.
And this now means that the extension will watch the comment section of any of the products documents. So you can actually watch multiple documents and the comment section within that document.
That's nice. So in this case, I didn't need to change my code. Instead, I actually changed here, which is nice. Let's save. Let's save. And let's go back now to here. I will revert then. I don't need to do anything here. I still read the products and product ID and comments. I'm also gonna go and do the same here. Still the same thing. I just figure out this is not needed.
Yeah, that's right.
And there you go. Sorry, this is. So now if I save, go there. So I should be able to see. Okay, well, here's a problem because we already didn't have that pass correctly. Therefore, we don't really see that the attribute score right now, I believe. Yes. But if I add another one, let's say this is new one. It says moderating.
Yeah, this will take a minute because if you reconfigure an extension, it will still take just as long as the initial.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right.
So it's another 3 to 5 minutes for updates as well.
Okay, you're right. But what it happens now is under this, so we added like, yes, 2 more documents. And now the extension is looking for products, any products, and then comment sub collection, and then take a look at everything and add that, all of those score, right?
Yes.
There you go. You see that it's actually configuring right now 3 to 5 minutes. So that's nice. So we know that now we also can have wildcard in our collection path in any extension, which is very, very nice. So this was actually the last extension that we're going to talk about right now. There are other extensions as well, but the rest, I mean, it will just be some configuration. Like, for example, we want to connect your app to MailChimp. In fact, we're going to talk about them before we end the session, but we will not install them. And we're hoping that you go ahead, install, get it to work. You have the functionality, by the way. So you just need to install the extension and have a right path to collection and save it correctly, install it correctly. And once that's done, you come back to UI and trigger, and it should work. So now it seems like it's okay. It seems like it should work now. Let's actually try one more time. This is third one. So want to go and check out the comments here. There you go. You see, you get that back from the API, the service. So now, in fact, here, I can come back to, where is, let me just go there. Comments. Okay. I do now have attributed score. If you look at this, now I do have attributed score for this, and then I can just check maybe this one and thread or insult or whatever. I mean, this is definitely possible to do all of them. And if I take a look at the log, you see there is some stuff coming right now. So you get that. So if it's not null, then you can decide what to show. So should you show? You want to explain a little bit more here, Darren?
Yeah, and the score comes from the external API perspective, and it's really up to developer discretion on what you consider a toxic comment in this example. So saying this is the third one, it's got very limited toxicity. If you want to then code what you can then display, or you could even put it into a Firestore query when you get in the collection. And this will be a way of filtering out any of the comments that you base say, like, let's just say 0.5 is a threshold that you'd like to filter.
Yes. So then this is up to you from now, like what to decide. I mean, I'm not going to write any bad words right now to see if it works. It's a public video. And so please go ahead. And once you get that, token from prospective API or website, so go ahead and try this comment, or maybe you can come back to the original Firebase comment that I showed you, this one. So, and try out, because that is connecting to our Firebase account. Try out technically your comments, whatever you want to write, and see if it really works. I think it will work. Hopefully, we set it up correctly. So, and this is a Google sign in. If everything goes well, that you should see this pop up, and then you can also sign in with user in your application. You should see something like that, and you will get like all of these things here. You see, we already tested before. You get the original project again if you want to test it out and make sure that everything is working. We've come so far. I'll be honest with you. It's 3 hours. We talked a lot, and we together, hopefully at least at some point, we together could install part of these extensions and see how it really works. The end goal of the workshop, to be honest, was to show you that it is fairly simple to replace some of the complex logics with pre-made functionalities that is on extensions, part of the Firebase. So where you can simply go and find lots of these extensions. In fact, many of them are developed by Invertase, my company, and Darren is lead on most of those extensions. So I will encourage you also to go to our website, Invertase, and we have an article, blog section, which is pasted here. So we are writing lots of article about extensions. The last one was full text, for example, that Darren has written, or about exactly the moderating comments that we discuss right now. So you can actually take a look at the final example and everything that is needed here. And a bunch of other extensions that we already have an article for. So you can take a look. I will encourage you to take more time today if you have and install more extensions, and feel free to reach out to me or Darren. We also have a Discord. We also have a Discord channel, Discord server, where you can, in fact, sign in or come and visit us there on their extensions channel. So this is going to be I just pasted right now. You can connect with us on our Discord, and we will be happy to answer your questions at any time. I would take just 1 minute and ask you, how are you feeling right now? It's like 3 hours me talking or Darren is talking. So you're also doing at the same time a bunch of things. I hope it was helpful. Definitely, it's just the beginning. But tell us what you think. And if you are struggling with anything, you can connect with us. Also on Twitter, you have our handler. I will just paste it also on the um, on the chat. So in the chat, so then you can connect with us. And that's pretty much it until you write what you think. Darren, do you want to add anything at the end of the workshop?
No, I think you covered all the social media channels and the blogs. I hope everyone enjoyed it. And as Majid said, feel free to get in touch if you have any questions. We're always happy to help on the related channels.
That's it. So let's wait a few seconds, see if you really have any question. Please let us know. It's your time. It was not as interactive as I was expecting because of the comments or writing. Maybe it's a bit difficult, but I hope at least in 3 hours you learned something. You watched us to fail a few times, and at least we figured out why. So I hope that you had a good time together with us in the last 3 hours and learned something. Again, this is just the beginning. You need to give it a try yourself. I am okay. So there's a question. Thank you very much for those who are saying it was good. Thank you very much. It's actually a great motivation. Someone asked if we do have any certificate or swag. I'll be honest with you. I don't know. I think there will be a certificate of participation. Hopefully, I don't know, Nick or Anna can answer that. Um, I think there will be something. At least Nick is sending me some. Yeah, so I don't think there is anything for the workshop, but there will be one certificate at least for the event. So you will receive. Regarding swag, I'm not sure. I think you should stay in touch with the organizers. Hopefully, they will give you some swag. I'm sure they will. But thank you very much, Zohre. Thank you very much, Flawless Cinema. So, Mike, I appreciate you've been with us 3 hours. And Hasna, thank you very much. I hope that you will continue and let us know what you have done with extensions. And Winset, thank you very much. I hope that you could get part of the extension to work because you had some problem in the beginning, but let us know what you can build. And Jackie, thank you very much for your nice and kind words. And I hope you also had a good time as much as we had. That was it, a wrap up. And we are live for 3 hours. We will have more sessions and more dedicated sessions later. Please follow me or Darren in this case, or Invertase, please, because we do a lot of things for extensions. I will paste our website once more, just in case if you want to connect. So there are different ways that you can connect. You can find it on our website as well. We have a Discord server. We have social media. You can follow us as developers, and happy to connect. And last one, Marco, thank you very much. It's nice that you are joining from Colombia. That was it. Darren, I think it's tearing time, so we need to cry.
It is.
Although I'm actually losing my voice, to be honest. It's so
Don't
tough.
worry, Majid. You've covered for me quite well today as well.
Okay, that was nice. Well, I don't know if Nick or Anna is going to join. I don't think they will join. So we were supposed to end this session ourselves. So we will end it right now. Have a good day, night, wherever you are, and let us know what you do with the extensions later. We're happy to connect, and see you next time.
Goodbye.